Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to Raptors Flex Plus, where you know the flex already. I am your host, Kyle, and I got my boy here with me, friend of the show, Kani, and we're here to talk some Raptors basketball, man. Welcome back to the show.
Bow, I'm out here. What's up?
Yes, sir, man. How you feeling today, bro?
It's good. The new year. I don't think we've talked or we've really connected since the new year. So happy new year and all that. A little late and shit. You know what I mean? But life is good. Can't complain. Woke up this morning. Give thanks. You know what I'm saying?
Done, no.
Yeah.
That's the important part, man.
Right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like one of the things that I've been wanting to connect with you on. I mean, you and I, we connected really quickly, like right before the new year, to talk about the OG Anunoby trade, like the initial reactions and all those types of things. A
Yes,
lot has
sir.
happened since then, right? We've played 3 games,
Yes, sir.
lost to the Pistons, like all types of things happened, yo. It's crazy in Raptor land. But
I
like,
was on that loss. I had to. That was a great podcast at the end there. After we lost, it was very enjoyable.
oh, thank you, my friend. But you want to know what, man? I wish I never had to do it, dog. I wish I didn't. Okay.
That shit is so on brand for the Raptors, man. Frig. Excuse my language, but they be throwing those type of games at us just to check if we're real fans and stuff. It's wild, but it is
Let me
what it
ask you a
is.
question about like my theory on this, okay? And tell me if I'm just like wild. I think I said it on that like episode. I was
Yeah,
saying like James Dolan probably had that trade just on the side for a couple of days, just like looking at the schedule, like, yeah, I'm gonna run that on Saturday so that the Raptors are undermanned against the Pistons. Do you think James Dolan really has it in him to do something like that?
I listen, man. One, I don't think James Dolan is that type of evil genius. Though I really don't. I really don't have a whole lot of faith in James Dolan's 4D chess game, dog. Like his 3D chess
Oh,
game. I don't have a whole lot of faith in that. Just watching him over and over. And I would love to. I really would love to blame James for that loss. I've been a Raptors fan for what is it now? Like since that was a 9-5,
yeah,
buddy,
bro. So me came in.
buddy. We lose those games, yo. Those are games that we are just like, some nobody will pop out of nowhere and have like a 50-point game on us. Like career nights are what we give away. It's our gift
Mm-hmm.
to the NBA for whatever reason, bro. You know what I mean? So that's just on
Yeah.
brand for the Raptors. You know what I'm saying? It's a thing that they do. In fact, a lot of Toronto teams do that shit. I don't know why. Don't know why.
I don't know, man. But the bright side of it is that we got Immanuel quickly back in the
Yeah,
trade.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? We got
yeah,
RJ Barrett back in the trade.
yeah.
And we also got a second round pick from the Detroit Pistons of all teams, actually. So,
Early second round pick.
yeah, early second round pick.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, for me personally, I've been expressing a lot of optimism with this particular team, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like that so far I've seen both of these guys just kind of fit seamlessly into the starting lineup. And it doesn't look perfect, right? At times, for
Mm-hmm.
me personally, I'm like, damn, like y'all are missing assignments. You don't know where players are supposed to be on the court at certain times when, maybe you should have made a pass. And I understand that with time, those things should come, right?
Yeah.
So I'm feeling optimistic. We won the first 2 games. We lost last night to Sacramento, which we'll get to in a little bit. But like, what's your general feeling around like this new Raptor squad?
Um, they're they make more sense than they did before the trade. I'll say that much. I think like the lineup balances out. We got a little bit more depth. I don't think we should be done by any chance, but I think what it does for this organization and for this team right now is gives them a sense of direction that we are building around Scottie. We are building for the future, right? And if you want to be here, you're gonna have to buy into that narrative that we are building around Scottie, and we're gonna be developing that type of team that can play around Scottie. Players that can shoot a little, can shoot. I don't know if shooting's been our biggest thing, and defend. I guess shooting has always been something that we've been coveting. We just haven't been able to get it. But players that can shoot, defend, and play off of Scottie, or you know, I guess benefit from Scottie and vice versa. So that's kind of my feeling. Definitely see some kinks in it, but yeah, I'll let you kind of react to it as well before I really dive into like the biggest kink I see, which is really going to
Yeah.
be old. Yeah,
So I'm actually just going to share this for a second because I thought this was pretty interesting as
yeah.
well when I saw it. Um, Basically, like we know that. Let's get this in the right spot here. I don't know if you
Oh,
saw
the
this, the
the
Masai
Masai
Ujiri.
call.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
this thing at a new phase. And
So for our viewers, all right,
yeah.
let's just let this play for a second. This is Masai Ujiri talking to Emmanuel Quickly immediately after the trade.
just taking this thing at a new phase, a new everything, like with Scottie, like it's an unbelievable fit with you and Scottie. This is exactly what we wanted. We're gonna arrange everything. I can't wait to just take it.
Yo,
Yes, yeah.
this guy literally just said Scotty, 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 Scotty.
Scotty. Oh, by the way, Scotty and some more Scotty. Yeah,
So there's no question that that is the direction of the team, right? And
yeah,
maybe some people might feel like we're looking in, like some Raptors fans are really looking into this, and like some other Raptors fans are saying, well, you can't really just look into that. You know what I'm saying? Like there might have been more to the conversation that wasn't captured, all those types of things. Me personally, I think it's very, very evident that the Raptors are going to be building around Scottie Barnes. The
yeah.
question is whether Pascal Siakam is going to be a part of this team short term, like this year and maybe next year, or not part of the team at all coming up very soon, right?
Yeah.
So am I way off base and just assuming that based on that clip played by Masai?
No, I don't think so. I thought it was very interesting too because watching that episode, the Quickly call came first. And there's a big difference in the way he talks to Quickly and the way he talks to RJ. Right? And a lot of people at first was like, "Oh, we're getting RJ Barrett." Man, RJ Barrett is kind of like the not for not because he's not a good player, but he's kind of the poison pill in the trade with this massive contract and a skill set that still needs to be developed, right? And this is I don't know, maybe this is James Dolan playing 3D chess where he gives RJ this huge contract and sends him home to kind of
Wow.
sabotage us. But you know, I don't think RJ is going to be that bad. From what I see from RJ for the first two games is that he's going to play extremely hard on both ends of the court, and I see him trying to make the right decisions. Right? There could be a little more fluidity in his finishing around the bucket and his moves to the bucket. I think sometimes I think he hesitates, and I think that's what gets him in a little bit of trouble. But Quickly, it was interesting to me that Quickly was. I didn't really understand how good Emmanuel Quickly like can be. I'm not going to say that he's all the way there yet. I think stepping into a starting role is a big deal. But it's definitely a guy who I think I said this to you on the phone that night, who has a lot of Tyrese Maxey in him. And if Raptors fans who have been paying attention, even if you just came in after the championship, we know that we had an opportunity to get
Tyrese
Tyrese
Maxey.
Maxey for Kyle Lowry and I think some other pieces as well. But they may have wanted picks from us, maybe, and maybe that's why it fell through, right? So here, I guess those picks got spent on Pirtle instead, and then we get Quickly out of this. But I do think Quickly is an interesting fit. I think there's some work to be done, especially if you watched the Sacramento game last night. I don't know if I like that shot. I would have rather Scottie take that
Mm.
shot, and I still see that as the biggest thing that they need to do direction wise is that they need to instill in Scottie Barnes that this is your time, your team, and we're gonna live and die with you. You know what I mean? I was kind of disappointed to see that Quickly took those two shots after Scotty was the one that came up with pretty much two big blocks at the end of the game there to kind of get us back into it. So yeah, sorry, I know I went a little bit off topic there.
No,
But
that's okay because you
yeah,
like you're basically just analyzing what Quickly's been bringing to the court so far,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And RJ, and we're only 3 games in, so there's not a whole lot to choose from.
yeah.
So no worries there for me. And I want to get your thoughts on this as well, right? Because I've been saying to Raptors fans, right, and this is my opinion, Raptors fans. Everybody's
Mhm,
entitled to their own opinion. I've been saying immediately after we made the trade, right? You started hearing reports immediately. The Raptors are exploring trades for Pascal Siakam. These teams are interested. I think it was Golden State, Sacramento, Dallas. There were some other teams that were included, right? I was saying to me personally, I'm like, don't be so quick to just trade Pascal, right?
mhm.
Meaning, we've just made this big trade on December 30th. We are only January 6th. I don't feel like we need to make that trade immediately. I would like to see what this team looks like, plus another big. And then we somehow were able to find Jonte Porter, which I believe so far he's shown that he can be a smart player. He can shoot the basketball from beyond the arc, which we saw in the last game against Sacramento. He actually had a few big buckets for us. And he plays the game of high IQ. And that is actually Michael Porter Jr.'s brother.
I tried to tell somebody yesterday
So,
and thought I was joking. I
huh?
tried to tell somebody that's his brother yesterday and they thought I was joking. Thought I
No,
was like, it's his brother.
that's his brother. That's his
I don't know if
brother.
it's younger or older. I don't know what it is, but it's his brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I mean, the only thing for me is like it's hard for me to trust a big that plays in a t-shirt. You know what I'm saying, Doc? Like I'm not sure if you need to like fill out or like what it is, but like you're in a t-shirt in the NBA.
Guy, guy, cut it out, man. I allowed a t-shirt, fam, because he's played solid minutes.
He
He has
is, he
been
is, he
solid. He
is.
even hit a three last night.
Hit 2 threes last night.
Like, where
Fourth
did he
quarter.
come from? Where did he
The
come from?
the G League. So apparently there was like the showcase series, and I guess the Raptors scouted him and they signed him from the G League.
Yeah, what is it? How big is he? What is he? 6'10", 6'11"?
They have him listed as a center. So out there he looks like he's probably around there, 6'10", right?
It's
He's not a
Jonte.
seven
It's
footer.
Jonte Porter, right?
Yeah.
I was pretty impressed. Like, I was like, who the hell is this kid? Where did he come from? You know what I mean? He's 24 years old. Let's see. I don't even know if they have a wiki for him yet.
Man, they got something for him,
Uh,
right? But
he's 2 meters, 2.8 meters. I'm listening to you. Sorry, go ahead. I'm
meters.
just pulling up. Yeah, I don't know why
How
they
much
give
is
me that.
meters
Like
and
I
feet
can't.
and inches, sir?
I'm figuring it out right now. If you can just give me 1 second, be cool. I'm a
No,
carpenter, not a genius, buddy. All right,
no.
all
So,
right.
long story less long. I wanted to kind of see what this team looked like with Pascal fitting alongside Immanuel Quickly and RJ
Mm,
Barrett and now Jonte Porter. And so far, I feel like this team has looked pretty good. They don't look like they have everything in order yet, but like it's evident to me that this team just looks much better than anything that we've seen all season, even though the sample size is only 3 games. And I know we lost
mm.
last night to Sacramento, but let's not act like the Raptors just played a bad game yesterday. Like, I don't think that was the case, yo. Sacramento was
I
on
thought
fire from three. Fire.
they were. They were. My only disappointment with that game is Sacramento did everything they could possibly do to lose that game, and then
Uh, what do you mean
they
by
did.
that?
Like we were down by 20, and Sacramento handed us that game on a platter, and we couldn't capitalize. They really did. Sacramento really handed us that. It's a game that I've watched the Raptors play a whole lot, where you're up, and then in that fourth quarter you just completely collapse, and that's what happened with Sacramento. You did a great
Nah.
job getting Sabonis out, fouling him out, but they just stopped shooting the ball. They stopped. There was a couple of knucklehead plays where I don't know if you remember, we're down by 5, I think, and De'Aaron Fox makes this drive into traffic against a triple team and gets swatted off the backboard by Chris Boucher. Like, just knucklehead plays like that Sacramento didn't need to play. They were very efficient in the first 3 quarters. And that's what I mean when I say they handed the Raptors that game on a platter, and the Raptors could not capitalize.
I'm going to give the Raptors a little bit more credit than that,
Okay.
personally, right? Um, De'Aaron Fox was doing that all game long, man. Coming down the court, getting lay-ins and ones all game long. I thought the Raptors did much better in their transition defense in that fourth quarter that were allowing to come up with some of those blocks and those help side blocks. Like there was one block where I believe it was Sabonis. He came down the court. He made some space on Boucher, and then Scottie Barnes just comes out of nowhere and blocks him from behind. Like we weren't
Yeah.
seeing those types of plays in the second quarter and in the third quarter, right? Like the
Okay.
Raptors were on fire in that third quarter,
Right.
and for the game, the Kings were shooting the three really, really well. But it's hard to keep up like that type of pace when you're shooting the three over 50% for the entire game. And it was just, inevitable that they were going to slow down just in terms of the percentage, but they were
Yeah.
still hitting some big threes in that fourth quarter where the Raptors were making their runs, and then all of a sudden it's back to 17 or back to 15 again. I
Fair
didn't
enough.
really see Sacramento handing us that game. I see
Mhm.
more so Toronto just really buckling down and stepping up
Okay.
defensively. And Immanuel quickly had himself a really good fourth quarter as well.
Yes, he did. Yeah. I mean, it can go either way for me, but I feel like we could have definitely stolen that game. I guess at the end of the day, I'm saying we had a chance to get in there, and I'm not really trying to take anything away from Sacramento. I just think they had a little bit more of a collapse in the fourth quarter that I watched some knucklehead plays that I just didn't agree with from
Yeah,
Sacramento.
I
You know?
definitely hear you. Like the De'Aaron Fox play, that was definitely knucklehead, yo.
Yeah.
There's no need to go grab Siakam like that down there on the baseline, giving
Yeah,
up
I didn't understand that either.
yeah.
I don't understand that either. So, let's let's just run back a little bit because I think we got off
Yeah.
topic.
My
Yeah,
question to you.
Pascal Siakam in the future. Yeah.
So when I say future, right? So
Mhm.
what I mean is we can max out Pascal Siakam in the
Yeah.
offseason if we need to,
Yeah.
and he still becomes a tradable asset, right?
Yes.
If teams are not going to give you or make you a good offer for Pascal Siakam, I don't believe we should just trade him to trade him, right? Eventually, this is going to be Scottie's team. We know this, but at the same time, like we need to get proper value back for Siakam, and I'm not so sure that we're going to be able to turn that in at the trade deadline.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of teams are looking at it like we're in a little bit of a sticky situation here. One, there's a couple questions that arise. Like you said, are we going to get value back for him? Right? And then the second part is yes, we can extend him for max money. Is he worth max money?
Probably not. But at the same time, it's still an asset. It's still an
It's an
asset
asset.
that teams would be more inclined to trade for because he's already under contract versus you trade for Siakam this season and he has the ability to just walk at the end of the off season, right? So it's a
Yeah.
risk for the other team to bring Siakam in, which is why I believe that they'll offer us less money. Sorry,
Yes.
less
Less
value.
assets.
Yeah,
Yes, I agree. I just don't know. I think there's another like underlying value here that we don't talk about a lot. And I think that underlying value is how fast do we give Scottie the keys, right? It's really when I watch the Raptors play, especially in fourth quarters, if you watch, you'll see there's a lot of times where okay, we're in a close game and Schroeder goes to inbound the ball or whoever's inbounding the ball, and it'll be like Dennis, Siakam, and Scottie all calling for the ball at the same time. And quickly will kind of be there like, well, am I supposed to come get this ball or am I not supposed to come get this ball to bring it up? Right? And I don't personally like Siakam bringing the ball up. I think he brings the ball up just based on the fact that he is the highest paid player on the court. You know what I mean? Like that's a pecking order kind of thing. He's not passing it. He's not necessarily a great playmaker, right? He's going to come down and you're probably going to get a shot. And in times past, we would have lived with that shot because he was the best player on our team. But I don't think that's true any longer. I don't think he's the best player on our team, and I don't know if he's our best option in the fourth quarter or in a close game either. I like him playing within the offense. I don't know if I like Pascal initiating the offense, and it just screams volumes to me that we're still having that clearly we're having a conversation on the court as an organization as to who's taking this ball up and taking charge in the fourth quarter, and nobody seems to know. And I think Darko's going to have to really start to set that aside right now.
Mm-hmm. Um, what I see from that actually, like just based on this 3 game sample size that I'm seeing right now, really the struggle to me is between Scottie Barnes and Immanuel Quickly in terms of who's bringing up that ball in crunch time, right? Like it almost seems like Siakam's almost not even out there in in at least in the case of last night, bringing the ball up the floor. Like IQ was bringing the ball up the floor. I would say probably 90% of the time that he was out there. And
When we were down by it was 130. It was 131 to 133. We were down
yeah,
by 2. Who took that shot to tie the game?
well, we were down 130 to 133. Emmanuel quickly took a Emmanuel quickly took 2 threes late in that game.
Okay, maybe
One
it wasn't.
that was like a pump fake type of thing off of the
Right?
right wing, and I'm like, what
He
is
got
that
fouled and
about?
they didn't call it.
Huh?
He tried to draw a foul there. They didn't call it.
Yeah, I understand what he was trying to do. It's just when it doesn't work, it just looks bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, agreed. Agreed.
And then the last shot, I don't even understand what that play was. Like they gave the ball to Quickly. I'm like, I'm okay with this so far. Okay, give the ball to Quickly. I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Schroeder like flashes up from like the low post and just like taps the defender on the side of his hip or something. Didn't even like attempt to set the
Set a
screen.
screen or anything? Yeah.
Like and then like quickly took 2 dribbles to the left, deep three. Like to me, this comes back to coaching again, And
Yeah,
I think
I agree.
Darko's been doing a pretty decent job as of late. Like this team looks different to me from the beginning of the season to now. So like to be fair, I see improvements with the coaching strategies. But that was not his
Correct.
best moment yesterday from a coaching standpoint.
No, there wasn't. Maybe it was before the quickly three, but Pascal Siakam gets the ball. I'm pretty sure he brought it up. He brought up the ball. This is what I'm talking about. Him, Dennis Schroeder, and quickly come to get the ball. Scottie Barnes doesn't come to get the ball. Pascal grabs the ball. They give it to him. He brings it up. He drives into the lane. Um, Back to the basket. Play now at the top of the key there around at the elbow, and then draws an offensive foul trying to take a shot.
On
Right,
Fox. Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm like, it's so reminiscent of some other plays, right? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, this is where, to me, the answer is gonna come of whether he's gonna be here or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
At this point in time, you're gonna have to understand, like, I don't think the fourth quarter is necessarily gonna be your time unless you're seriously rolling, right? And he asked for that ball. He came in, like, give me the ball. You know what I'm saying? And that can't be the play that we get out of that at all. Not in a close game. And right before that, prior to that, again, like I said, big plays from Boucher, big plays from Scottie. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that Pascal is like, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that this guy's not a good player. You understand what I'm saying? But there's a thing in the NBA now where a lot of guys come in very talented, and I don't think that guys spend as much time as much as they spend working on their game, I don't think they spend as much time working on counters. Like it seems to be a lost art almost in the league. There's certain guys that'll work on counters, and other guys just work on their talents and their skills. You know what I mean? But game breakdown and so on and so forth, and you're gonna need that in those fourth quarters because we're begging for a star. We don't have a fourth quarter dog yet. And I think that's why you get the disorganization of quickly taking that shot at the end because we tried it with you, Pascal. Now we're gonna go to a different look. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
even if it was a better look, I would have been happy. But to draw an offensive foul like that, it doesn't. It's just like what I mean. Like we need to really decide what we're doing in the fourth quarters, and I think we're getting there. Maybe they're assessing the team. I'll say this: We made a trade, and now we're developing.
Hmm.
That's where I'm at right now. To keep peace of mind, we made a trade, we're developing, and we're gonna see where these pieces go. And that's as far as it goes. But if Pascal wants to be here in the future, I think some things are gonna have to change in the pecking order when it comes to close games and who the guy is on the team.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
You used the word disorganization. I actually think that's a perfect way to describe it.
Hmm.
Like for me, my expectations are that as a point guard, you want to be able to find who has the plus matchups, right? Siakam's
Yes.
not a scrub. Siakam has Fox on him. As a point guard, you need to be able to communicate, yo, go get in the post. Go get in the post. You're getting the ball. And now you have a mismatch down below, right? And Fox was really like motivated on that play as well, because that's coming off of the technical foul where him and Siakam got tied up underneath their basket, and they called it technical foul. Um,
Yeah.
and I think some of that stuff will come with time in terms of understanding the point guard duties. And that's not even just IQ. That's also Scottie as well, yo. Because I'm seeing him make some decisions out there. I'm like, bro, what is up with that cross court pass? Like that, like through the lane, beer mans are there. Anyways, I digress, right? When it comes
Yeah.
down to that fourth quarter, um, I think you're 100% correct. Correct. We don't have like those dogs that you just say, "Yo, give me the ball. I'm gonna go get it." I see IQ feeling like he can be that type of guy just based on the types of shots and drives that he made to the bucket down the stretch in the fourth quarter. He still needs some work in order to iron out those details of his game.
Hmm. Yep.
And then again, just the point guard situation, yo. If I see Siakam on Fox, okay, I'm telling you to get in the post, man. I would
Yeah.
tell like in like YMCA ball, I would say that like at the Y. Like I
Yeah.
don't
I
understand
get
why
it.
NBA players can't get that
But
right.
this is what I'm saying. I'm like, to me, my mistake. I can't put that on the point guard because he brought the ball up. Siakam went to the. There was Quickly was in the backcourt. Fucking who else was there? Dennis was in the backcourt. Scottie looked at that situation and said, "Oh, I'm not going to be there. It makes no sense for all of us to be there." And then Siakam was in the backcourt. Siakam's demanding the ball to go one on one in an ISO play, right? Like you should know to get in the post. You're the highest
Yeah,
paid player here. I will take mistakes from Scottie and Quickly because I'm like, well, you're young. Quickly's trying to get comfortable. I'll take that mistake. I won't take it for long. I think that was an atrocious shot that Quickly took. But the one shot that bothered me the most was that Pascal Siakam shot because I mean the momentum is there,
yeah, it
and
was
to
right
get an
there.
offensive foul, that's just a turnover. It swings for 4 points. We all know that. You know what I mean? Like it just didn't sit well with me. You're the highest paid player. You're the guy, and you asked for it. You demanded the ball. It's a knucklehead play, just as bad as De'Aaron Fox's knucklehead play, right? And all I'm saying is that the only person's future here that's in question, we're not getting rid of Quickly, so we're gonna live with his mistakes. We're not getting rid of
Marks.
Scotty.
Hmm.
We're gonna live with his mistakes. You know what I mean? We're probably not even getting like, if we get rid of Schroeder, nobody cares because if we get rid of Schroeder, we know we're trying to get we're just jostling pieces at this point to make something work here, right? But you're on the line. You had great games. I'm not gonna lie, he's had great games. I've been calling for his head and he's responded, right? But you're the guy that really needs to be. You're supposed to be the smartest guy on the court right now. You've been here. You know what we're about. You know what we're doing. You've seen every defense, and you claim to work on it. So if you're gonna be here, I just need to see. That's why I think his future's in question here, right?
You don't have to think
Okay,
it.
is
His future is in question here.
his future?
It's
This
a
is what.
fact.
Yeah, I'm just
Hmm.
thinking. I'm just saying. I think that's the reason. If anything, that we're gonna look at this and be like, yeah, it's worth the move, right? And to my point, like I said, that's the part that adds value that we don't talk about. Yes, we have to get assets back. Yes, we have to understand that there's an extension here, but you're getting in the way of winning at this point. If you're gonna do those, if you're gonna have those kind of plays, and it's not the I'm calling this one out because I can remember it fresh, but it's not the first play that we've had where we're in a close game and he demands the ball, and then we come up with nothing, right? Like he's not a scrub. but he's also not an elite scorer. I think he's a good scorer, maybe even great, but I don't know about elite. So it starts to become, where are we going for these buckets in close games, because we're a defensive team and there're going to be a couple of those down the road, and especially in the playoffs, that's not going to fly. It's a momentum swing, it's a momentum killer, and I'd rather Scottie make those mess ups, because from what I can see, Scottie's a faster learner than Pascal Siakam at this point. So I'd rather have him taking charge of those, and I'll live and die with his mistakes rather than live and die with Pascal's mistakes for 171 or 35 million a year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that, right? Like, just for the fact that Barnes and Quickly are just younger than him and haven't seen as much as him and don't demand as much in terms of contract and all those types of things, right? We're going to live with the
Yeah,
growing pains of our young players. And I'm totally on board for that. My thing, though, is like, you have to take the good with the bad with Siakam, like with any player as well, right? Because we've also seen Siakam get that ball in certain situations and go and get us a bucket as well, right? So, like, it happens with all NBA players. Sometimes you score, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you make a mistake, sometimes you don't, right? If you're always making a mistake, like Jalen McDaniels, for example, then yo, we're gonna be on you and you need to
damn,
bounce.
McDaniel.
Yeah, damn
Ease up,
McDaniels.
bro.
No, I'm sorry, guy. Yo,
Damn.
any trade we make, if we're sending Pascal away, please send this guy with him, yo. Please, like respectfully.
Wow.
I just do not like his game,
Wow.
bro. I do not like his game. He doesn't look like he looks like he's scared out there. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, why are you looking jittery out there on the court? I just don't get it. Anyways, with the whole
I get
Pascal
it. I hear
Siakam
you.
thing, I just don't want I just don't want us to be a
Nothing.
situation where we're literally getting a Vince Carter type return where there's a buyout player, two scrubs, and 2 second round picks. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I have to endure that
Tony.
type of trade, then I would much
Yeah.
rather go and sign him in the offseason to whatever bag he needs and then use as another tradable asset down the road. I understand how that could
Do you,
impact the growing pains of some of the younger players, but we also need to think like it's going to be much more difficult to build around Scottie Barnes and Immanuel Quickly without our first round pick this year and no assets.
no, I get it. I just want to know how long you're willing to stunt that growth, right? Because right now I can clearly see it stunting the growth. If anybody can't see that, I don't know what to say. But there's clearly a stunt, and Pascal's at the center of it. I'm sorry.
What I
They've
want to
gotten rid of
see.
almost everything else.
No, go ahead,
Sorry, go
continue.
ahead.
No, you continue. Sorry.
No, I just they've gotten rid of everything else that was in the Scotty's way. And every time they get rid of another piece for Scotty, Scotty has been taking on the all the defensive assignments. I don't think he's been terrible. We got rid of OG. We got rid of Fred Van Fleet, or with that Fred Van Fleet walk, and Scotty is now taking over the point guard duties, and I don't think he's been terrible either. I mean, by next year, I think if he plays these 82 games, by next year, I expect him to be a solid, solid at running the team. I don't think it'll be a problem. The only time that we have a problem right now is that we can't have the both of them will have like 20, but I can clearly see Scotty taking a backseat to Siakam, and I just don't know if I'm enjoying that basketball. I pull my hair out, all of it, right?
Yeah.
Watching this guy come up the court and take some of these shots when I'm like, man, why does it have to be? Why are we still playing this brand of basketball where Siakam comes up the court from the inbounds pass, comes all the way down the court and takes a shot without moving the ball once? Why is that acceptable?
It's not acceptable.
Why is that acceptable? Exactly. So where is that worth the money? And how long are we gonna watch that get in the way? I just want to know.
As
It's
long
pissing
as
me
the
off.
coach allows that to happen. Like, I don't understand why there's not clear roles defined on this team, yo. Why? Why is there
Hey,
not clear
I
roles
haven't.
defined? Huh?
Yeah, because I don't think Darko is like you know what? Yes, Darko has been better with better pieces around him. Congratulations. You know what I mean? We upgraded you from now you can drive faster, because not because you learned to drive faster. You can drive faster now because I gave you a Mercedes instead of a flipping Honda, right? I gave you two players that can go a lot faster than the one player that you got rid of.
Yeah.
So offense is going to look better,
Yeah.
right? But are you doing a way better coaching job? I don't know. I don't know. I just gave you better pieces. I gave you a more balanced team, right? But at no point, if we played basketball in high school. When you leave the bench, okay, what is it? Plowman would be like, Coach Plowman would be like, yo, this is what's happening. You go get the ball, and this is coming to you. Now, there are certain players, once that ball gets down the court, we know that there's players that can get down and whatever. But our offense is supposed to look this way from the inbounds. If me, you, and Z and Tom are all begging for the inbounds, he's gonna call a timeout and somebody's gonna sit on that bench. And I've
Yeah.
seen it happen not once, not twice. It's been multiple times. It happens in the middle of games. And you know what it happens? It's bothering me the most is when it's time for hero ball. Like the end of quarters. Now everybody wants to get the ball and pad up their stats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's I don't think that that's the way that we go. You know what I mean? I just think that Darko needs to do a better job. So, he's still an F for me, my friend.
Damn. Well, I mean, no disagreements in terms of the coaching effort. I'm not going to give him an F. I don't give him an F. But at the
That's,
same
that's,
time,
that's,
again, certain things as like a coach, like you said it all, man. Like you got to clearly define those roles, and you know, if Pascal Siakam is going to get traded for 30 cents on the dollar just because Coach Darko doesn't know how to define the roles on the team, like I don't feel like that is like beneficial to our program and to our franchise, yo. But Darko's not going anywhere this year, so there's going to be a decision that needs to be made. But I want to just move on
fair
here
enough.
for a second and ask you about another player.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
this guy didn't play last night. Okay, he had a
Right.
strained or a bruised quadricep muscle, and he didn't play last night. Gary Trent Jr. Um,
Right.
believe it or not, I thought that we missed him last night because then that thrust Jalen McDaniels into a role yesterday, and like, part, real talk, yo, real talk, and like
Oh.
one reason why I agree with you that changes still need to be happening this year is because we still don't have enough depth, yo. Like we missed
Right.
one or two guys. Like we've been healthy all season long. I'll keep knocking on wood for that. But you missed one or two guys, and then all of a sudden things just change when you need to go
Yeah.
deep into your rotation. All right. So
Yep.
Gary Trent
Agreed.
Jr. didn't play last night. This is
Yeah.
another player that is coming to the end of his contract this offseason.
Yes.
Um, there
Yes.
are teams around the league that could use a Gary Trent Jr. just based on his historical ability to fill it up in bunches whenever he gets hot. Do
Yes.
you
I
see
agree.
this as a player that should stay on this roster this season, and we just
Um.
work with him in the offseason, or what do you think we should do with him?
I don't really care. I just as long as we get something for him. I don't know that he moves the needle a whole lot. I can see where you're like, we don't have that. We can have him instead of Jalen McDaniels. Like I understand that. Like how it helped us last night. I can agree with that sentiment. But like I don't know, man. I'm not sure what's going on with Gary Trent. And my problem with Gary Trent is that you've been here for 3 years and it's been a steady decline, right? And I don't know that you deserve to be a starter. Like, you know what I mean? As as he even though he plays much better as a starter, I just don't know that you deserve to be one. Like, you know, what is it outside of the shooting that you're giving me? Uh, I guess there's a little bit of defense
Yeah,
there.
some
You know what I'm saying?
defense.
But like, is it like defense that it's not the defense has been on the decline as far as I'm concerned in his years since he got here as well. And maybe that's an unsteady role or whichever. But I also think I do think he's a professional. But I just think that I don't see enough evolution in his game to necessarily care if he's going to be here or not. He's a very movable piece to me.
Yeah,
It's almost cannon fodder at this point.
I do agree with you as well. I think that's a player that I don't see any way how he's with this roster after the February trade deadline. And I'm a type of guy. I've been kind of like, you know, I kind of like him as a player, like his upside when we were talking about him a couple of years back up to now. But I've never really
Yeah,
seen like any changes from him, right? Like the one thing that we need to see from him, like if you're going to be a shooter, we need to see it with more consistency, man. And like this guy is
yes,
Dow Jones, dog, straight up and down, and you just never know what you're getting from him from night to night. Although I
Jones.
do feel like we really could have used him yesterday, man. We really could have used him yesterday because
Yeah,
that was a game where the Raptors, thought, shot the three pretty decently at times, but guys were getting open looks. I would have been okay with him
right.
taking some of those.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to Gary Trent, you know what I mean, and I don't usually do this, especially on this show, but to be fair to him, he's had a lot of inconsistency in his tenure with the Raptors, right? As to what his role is going to be, and with shooters, you want to give them some rhythm. I think what where the Raptors lose on this is that I think they were hoping that Grady Dick would be something that he hasn't turned out to
Mm,
be yet,
facts.
right? If Grady Dick was more consistent or even showed flashes, you'd be more inclined to quickly get rid of Gary Trent Jr. But it leaves a huge gap in shooting if we do move him, and we have to get a shooter back, and it's hard to get that value for him right now with the way that he's playing.
Yeah.
So, like guys like Struess, right? Guys like Max Struess. What's the other guy's name? He's on Miami still, I think.
Duncan Robinson.
Even Duncan Robinson. There's another cat too. Maybe he plays for George Niang, I think it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Like these guys are
Cleveland.
knockdown shooters. Like you know what I'm saying? Like they're knockdown shooters. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even think like if I told you I wanted Kevin Love for Gary Trent Jr., Miami would look at me like I'm crazy.
Why?
You know what I mean?
Why would they look at
You
you
just
that way?
can't do they I don't if I say I want straight up Gary Trent Jr. for let's just imagine the money works, right? And I say I want
Yeah.
Gary Trent Jr. for Kevin Love. Kevin Love just makes a lot of the basketball IQ alone is an offset, right? Like he's a guy that's going to be able to move the ball. He's going to make smart plays. He's a good vet in the locker room. You know what I mean? He can rebound. He's a little bit taller. You can throw him in there against the five with the bench. Like he's a vet. Like again, he's a vet. Like I just don't think the only thing that you're winning with Gary Trent Jr. is that he's younger, right? But the skill set I just don't. He's not. Gary Trent is not striking me as a complete basketball player. Where I'm watching guys like Max Strus, and I'm like, he gets ran off the line. He's making a play to go to the bucket, and not a bad play either. You know what I mean? Aggressive, looks confident doing it. The footwork's there, finishing at the rim at a decent clip. You know what I mean? And still defending, right? I just not seeing that. All I'm seeing from Gary Trent Jr. is that, well, if he doesn't make shots, what else is he doing? Are you talking to me about his defense? Are you talking to me about his rebounding? No, you're not, because he isn't doing those things.
Well, there's a role
Those are
for
not things
like
that you need to have in your hand to do.
players like that in the league. You know what I mean? Like he could be a
Gary Trent,
specialist. Yeah, he could be a specialist on a
even
team.
Duncan Robinson has to get better, bro.
True, 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 true. Like I agree with you, and like you were probably one of the first to say this. Like, yo, you didn't like how Gary Trent Jr. goes to the basket and those types of things, right? And you're like spot
Right.
on with that too. Like, but at the end of the day, if that's not his game and he literally just becomes a specialist in the league and he just fills it up, he could play 20 years in the league. You know what I'm saying? And like
What's
Miami's the
the
type of franchise that'll nurture that and they will develop it and make it work. So I don't know if Miami
now
was
the
the best
nurture by
example.
playing his ass? Sorry,
Huh?
sorry. Go ahead. What'd you say?
I don't know if Miami was the best example for that, but I want to digress just for a little bit because you called
Okay,
Grady Dick in
cool.
this conversation also. Okay, so he's
I
down in the
did.
Raptors 905. I didn't watch the game a couple days ago, but I'm just looking at the stats. Okay, so if anyone that's viewing right now saw the game, let me know down below how it actually looked. But I'm just gonna go through this stat line just really quickly. Okay, so Gray Dick
Mhm.
played 35 minutes. He shot 7
Yep.
of 14 from the floor. Okay, That's 50%.
Mm-hmm.
But from 3-point range, he was 1 for 7. That's deflating, guy. That's
Okay.
deflating for me. Like, you
It
know,
is.
I'm not sure how he
It is.
got those other 6 baskets or whatever. They could have just been like fast breaks, layups, or maybe they're running him off the line and he was making plays like Struess or whatever, right? But his superpower is supposed to be to shoot the three, yo. 1 for 7 in the G League. What's happening with Gradey, fam?
So I have a theory, right? And I think maybe the Raptors have gotten into a little bit of a cookie cutter, um, like kind of a cookie cutter response to like how they develop their stars, right? Where a lot of the times Raptors would be an organization that thought outside the box, which is I think what got them the G League, and the G League worked out for certain types of players, especially when you have a guy like Fred down there. Like we understand, like Fred is a different mentality, right? Like Fred is a dog, period. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter where you put him, he's gonna ball. He doesn't really flinch at stuff, and he wasn't even supposed to be there, so it doesn't matter. I don't know if the G League is the place for a guy like Gradey Dick, right? Like he's a lottery pick, and I think maybe what the Raptors might benefit from is you just gotta fucking again live and die with your young picks. You gotta show some trust in them. And I'm thinking that maybe Grady's not feeling the trust from the organization. He feels like he's on the rocks. And sticking him in the G League, right now you're looking well, a lot of us looking at Grady Dick like you could be out of here next year if we can move you. You know what I mean? And I think with like the team is not if the team was winning at a high clip without Grady Dick, I understand. Right? But your message to Grady Dick is like, we suck, but we're still way better without you here. Get me? And I think maybe they need to maybe just pull him back up into the fold and have him around the other guys and let him work through his shooting on the team. The team is not, we're not going to a championship right now. It's okay to have these guys, you know, have some growing pains right now. Just bring him back up to the league. I think
Yeah,
that would do a bunch for his confidence. And maybe he gets a couple stints in the G League. Like if you, I also think that they moved Fred back and forth a lot more. You know what I'm saying? Like Fred would play in the G League, then play that night. You know what I mean? Where Grady Dick is not even around the team half the time. And I think that's where I think that's if I was to handle him as the sports psychologist that I am, I would bring him back up to the regular team and have him around the team a lot more. I think it'll do wonders for his confidence.
yeah. I think you're spot on with that. Also, like I was actually even calling for him to just thrusted into the starting lineup at one point. Like prior to us making this trade for IQ and RJ Barrett, I was saying that. But nevertheless, like he should be with the team, man. He should be with the team.
Yeah.
Like I understand what the Raptors are trying to do, right? And maybe this works for him, maybe it doesn't. Basically, what they're saying is that not that we're better without you, even though we're losing and developing and stuff. I don't think that is necessarily
Mhm.
the message. If that's how it's being received to Grady, that's another whole thing. But I think like the
Yeah.
message is more so like um, we don't really have minutes for you right now. So we want you to go and get minutes and being able to just get some rhythm to your game. And once we make these trades now, in the second half of the season, January, February, Grady Dick's going to be with the big squad, right? So by then, hopefully, maybe some minutes will open up for him, and then he'll be able to come in and play for the Raptors. But I think that is what they're trying to
Mhm.
say. But I agree with you. I still think he should be with us.
Yeah.
So,
I you
sorry, go ahead.
it's if sorry, go ahead. Yeah. No, no, go
Go ahead.
ahead.
Floor's
I'm good.
yours. I was just gonna say, so I think the Raptors have some decisions to make, just in terms of the front office, because this was just a lot of a front office conversation. I think you and I are both saying that IQ and Scottie Barnes is the future. We listened to Masai, and he basically said it as well. I think where we start to divide is on, the impact to the team with Pascal Siakam being here in the short term, this season, maybe early next season, versus just getting him gone for the second half of the season, right? And we'll see what the front office thinks about that as well, depending on what trades come across the table. That'll be interesting to see, hopefully, in the next few weeks, because I think trade deadline is only like 4 weeks away, fam. It's real close. It's
I'm
not
pretty
far.
sure. I think it's February the 8th. Also, I'd like to. I think I was mistaken on how long it would take them to extend. I think they still have time to extend Siakam. I think last episode I said that they had to extend him by, and I believe I was incorrect. So I just wanted to acknowledge that for our viewers out there. That's my bad.
Do you have the correct date?
I have to do. Huh?
Do you have the actual date?
Um, I haven't been able to find it yet, but I also can't say that I've looked. To extend
We could,
Pascal.
yeah. So while he's looking that up, just to finish off the point, there's also Gary Trent Jr., who we all know his contract is coming up. There'll need to be some decisions that need to be made around that. And Gradey Dick, right? I think we're all feeling a little bit, um, we're all feeling like we had higher hopes for him so far to start the season, and it hasn't worked out in his best favor or ours. Maybe at some point in the second half of the season, we'll be able to see more Grady Dick and be able to develop that confidence in his shot. I'm certainly looking forward to that. And for any of the fans out there that feel like, because you kind of mentioned that as well. I'm not sure if you heard people talking this way, but if people want to get rid of Grady Dick so early without even seeing what he can do, I mean, it depends on what pieces are coming back, right? Like I'm not just trading him for like a second round pick, y'all. I'm not just giving up on Grady that easily, yo. And if there's people
Yeah,
out there that
I
have
don't.
a sorry, go ahead.
No, I agree. I agree. Sorry. I'm interrupting. I'm getting a little excited here, but go ahead.
No worries if you want to jump in.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, if anybody feels any differently about Grady Dick, please put it in the comments down below so that we can have a discussion about it. And yeah, this team is continuing out on their road trip. We lost to Sacramento last night in a hard battle, lost by 5. However, there was 2 pretty good games prior to that we did win. So there was some optimism there. But the next game, I believe, is against Golden State tomorrow. Can I?
I believe so. Which we,
So
we should be able to. That should be a good game for us to try and get back on track. Golden State is struggling. You know what I mean? It's also a potential trade partner with us, so it'll be a good look for us to get a good look at some of the guys and the assets that they have if the Raptors do decide to go down that rabbit hole.
yeah, absolutely. I'll be keeping an eye on Kaminga, Moses Moody. There was some conversation that they may be a little unhappy over there with Steve Kerr, so very possible.
Which
Huh?
I do want to say this to the
Mhm.
Raptors fans because I sometimes I get really agitated talking to Raptors fans. 'Cause I don't think a lot of them were here before whatsoever. That could be me tooting my own horn, but take a look at Golden State and understand how hard it is to keep a championship team rolling, how hard it is to keep guys engaged, to keep a core together. Like you look at Golden State and guys are complaining about the role next to Steph Curry.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And complaining about a coach that's won multiple championships. You know what I mean? With that team, it's a team that I can't even say that the dynasty is over. We had that conversation earlier on the podcast. We can't even really say that their dynasty is over. Like they've had to almost literally implode to get to where they are right now, and it speaks to the difficulty of winning in the NBA league. So when Raptors fans want to get rid of Grady Dick, take this as a learning moment. Look at organizations around and realize that this is still a top tier organization. I'm not calling for guys' heads because I think that they're scrubs or they're not good. I'm not giving out Fs because I'm trying to be funny or whichever. I understand that there's an expectation. We are in the precipice of developing a team, right? A lot of people are asking for championship moves. It's not going to happen right now. Understand where we are as an organization. Educate yourself as a basketball fan, as to what these players go through and be fair when you're making these assumptions. Let's be an educated fan base. Sorry, that was just like a rant because I sometimes talk to people and it's frustrating to have to like baby feed or spoon feed guys basketball knowledge so that they can get on the same fucking page and understand what basketball is and why things are happening. Anyways.
There you have it. Nah, man. You definitely said a lot of good things in there. I mean, yeah, take it for what it is, y'all. I mean, everybody has their own opinion. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, I think we all want the same thing. We want this team to be successful. We want this team to play hard, make us proud when they're out there on the court, and we want this team to develop and get back to where they were in 2019. Now, whether that happens overnight, not in Toronto. Not in Toronto. Doc. This ain't the Lakers, man. We don't make trades for superstars and those types of things on the regular and switch up our roster. So, let's see what
Yeah.
this team got. And the front office, they have some work ahead of them as well. So I think we're gonna close this off, man. As always, I
Sure.
appreciate you coming on the show, my guy.
Mm-hmm.
And for anyone that made it to the end of this video, we appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And if you are not subbed, please sub up, like, share, subscribe, and check us out on other streaming platforms if you just prefer to hear the audio. We are on iTunes, Spotify, etc. And yeah, Raptors gonna go back and get on the right track tomorrow on the road trip. Let's make it 2-1 on this road trip. Next up, Golden State. It's not gonna be an easy one, but at the end of the day, they are also struggling. Let's go
Yeah.
get a dub, man. Let's go get a dub.
That's
All
right.
right? Say what?
So damn straight.
Yes, sir. All right, man. So until next time, you know the flex. It's me, guy, and Kanai, and we're out.
Wow. Peace.